Hi, fourth grade friends. This is Mrs. Green again. Today we're going to be working on writing, but we're going to be thinking about what are some examples of opinion writing that we see in everyday life. We're going to look at the structures and the organization of how we persuade people to either think the way we want them to or to do something that we want them to. Things to remember. This is just a review of what we started the other day. You want to remember that we have our author's purpose, which is to persuade, to inform, or entertain. Every time we read a piece of writing, we really want to think about what was the author's purpose when they decided to write that piece. I highlighted persuade in orange because guess what? That's the type of writing that we are currently working on right now. We are thinking about why do people write to persuade and how can we as authors kind of change our mindset from writing as a narrative or to write a story to now persuading people to do what we want them to do. I like to think about what I want my parents to do for me sometimes. Sometimes we write to persuade our parents. How many of you have ever wanted something and needed to persuade your mom and dad that maybe it was a good idea for them to get you that? As the holidays come up, we start to persuade our parents to maybe get us the gifts that we want or to possibly persuade them to take us to activities or trips that we want them to. Opinion writing. What is an opinion? Remember, it's always your viewpoint. We write opinions to persuade people to think the way we want them to, and we persuade people with facts. Facts can change a little bit. They're usually always true, but sometimes facts for one person are not the same as facts for another person. Facts, it's anything you can prove to be true. We use this as evidence. How many of you understand that when we have a detective who's trying to solve a crime of some kind, that he needs to find evidence in order to prove who did it? As writers, we need to gather evidence that supports our opinions. We're going to be looking for facts as evidence or pictures as evidence or information as evidence for our opinions that we have. Sometimes we'll even use stories from our own lives or other people's lives as evidence. Here's an example of what writing might look like as a persuasive story, especially for kids your age. Dear Mom and Dad, although you might not agree, I think that once a boy turns 10 years old, he should be allowed to choose his own bedtime. There are several reasons why I think that I should be allowed to be the one to make this decision. My first reason is that I am the only one who knows when I am tired. Secondly, sometimes I have other things that I have to do before I go to sleep. Lastly, since I turned 10 years old, I believe that I have earned the privilege of making more decisions in my life. As I just mentioned, I am the only one who knows when I am tired. Sometimes I want to go to bed early because I am so tired. Do you remember when I played soccer and I came home exhausted? I fell asleep in the car because I was so tired. Many times I want to go to bed early. Other times, I am just not tired at the time that you set for my bedtime. I try to fall asleep, but I just lie there and toss and turn. Sometimes I stay awake and I read or I look through my quarter collection, even when you think I am sleeping. It just makes no sense to have someone else tell you when you're tired. Fourth graders, pause the video right there. Reread that on your own. Additionally, I often have things to do before I go to bed. I am the kind of kid who wants to make sure everything is ready for the next day. Of course, I need to get my homework done, but I also have other things I need to do at night. For example, I need to pack my backpack to make sure that I don't forget anything. Also, I never seem to have time in the morning to find what I want to wear. I'm always looking for my shoes or my cap or my glasses at the last minute, and I have to hurry. If I took the time to get myself ready at night, I wouldn't have to worry and rush so much in the morning. Last of all, I just turned 10, and I think I'm old enough to have more privileges. Surprisingly, this new privilege would actually help me become more responsible. I might make mistakes and stay up too late sometimes, but then I would learn how to use my time wisely. I know that I can take on this privilege and show you that I can make decisions and manage my time well. Choosing my own bedtime is important to me because I am ready to be more responsible for making these decisions on my own. Remember, I am 10 years old now, and I should be allowed to take on more privileges. I will show you that I can do this. Your smart and mature son, Adam. Fourth graders, take a moment, pause the video, reread through this on your own one more time. There's probably a few things that you noticed with this story. You probably noticed that he organized his writing really clearly. He used words like additionally, first, and last. He had a reason, but then he provided evidence for his reason. How many of you noticed that at the end, he restated his opinion again? I wonder if this might be close to our structure for writing. Let's look at another text. This is mentor text number 2. It's called A Vote Against Math. Uh-oh. How many of you have a favorite subject? Maybe your favorite subject is math, but for this kid right here, math is not his favorite subject. Math is the worst subject in school. It is the worst subject in school for many reasons. The first reason is that if you have a calculator, you won't need to know it. The second reason is it takes too much time out of the day to last, but not least, you won't really need to use math anywhere. Before I said you have a calculator, you won't need to know math, and it's true. If you're having a party and you need 2 chocolate bars for everyone, and everyone, and there's 32 people, just type in 32 times 2, and you've got your answer. My second reason why math is the worst subject in school is it takes too long in class. In my math class is a period and a half long. In my opinion, that's too long. You should be using that time to read or write or something more important. Last but not least, we don't really need to use math, which is true. If you get to this store and you buy something for $5.21 and you give them a $10 bill, you see on the little monitor that they are subtracting $5.21 from $10. But if you have some doubts, that's where you could use your calculator. If you still don't believe that math is the worst subject in school, then try it for yourself and see what a waste it is. So in this example right here, he's giving his opinion, or she or he is giving their opinion about math. Now, I don't know about you, but math is not a subject that I hate as much, but they provided good examples and reasons for why they don't like math. These are facts for this particular student. Think about some of the opinions that you might have. Go into your journal right now. A couple days ago, we used this journal and we used it to write down some ideas that we might have. What do you care about? What opinions do you have? In your journal, I want you to turn to the next clean page. There's an example picture on the right-hand side of this slide. Opinions I have. Write that at the very top, and then you can draw 6 stars or 6 dots on the side of the journal, and you can tell me what are some things that you have opinions about. Maybe you have an opinion about what your favorite holiday is. Maybe you have an opinion about what superhero is the best. Maybe you have an opinion on where your family should go for their one and only vacation this year. Maybe you have an opinion on what pet you should have. Maybe you have an opinion on what the best dinner your mom makes is. Whatever opinions you have, go ahead and write some of them down. Give yourself some ideas about opinions that you might hold. Pause the video if you need some time to do this. So when we think about how our stories are organized, we remember that when we wrote narrative stories, which is just a story, those stories include settings, characters, problem solutions, beginning, middle, and end. And they were organized in a story mountain, story hill, story roller coaster, where it took us a long time to climb the mountain. We had to set up our story, our characters, our setting, we had to set up the problem. And then when everything got to the top of that mountain, things were overflowing with our story. And when we went down the mountain, our stories actually finished really fast after that top of the mountain, because going down the mountain is a lot easier than going up the mountain. Let's now look over here at how our writing is organized for persuasive writing. Mrs. Green loves Oreos. She likes Oreos because they actually help her write opinion essays. So think about the letters Oreo. O-R-E-O. O stands for opinion. In your first paragraph, you want to state your opinion. Then it's an R and an E and an R and an E. This is like a triple stuffed Oreo or a double stuffed Oreo. So first, in your middle, your filling is your first reason and then your first example. Your second layer is your second reason and your second example. These are your reasons for your opinion. Remember, your reasons for your opinion. You're supporting your top cookie there. Now, in my essays, it would be a triple stuffed Oreo. So there would be one more layer of filling. But finally, your bottom layer is that O again, but it stands for your opinion. But this time you're stating your opinion one more time. If you're in Mr. AJ's class, you might see this organizer right here. This organizer right here talks about how you have an introductory paragraph, then you have your first reason and example, your second reason and example, your third reason and example, and finally, you're going to tell me your opinion one more time here at the end. So this isn't quite the same as my Oreo, but the same idea follows through with it. Take a moment here. You can go ahead and click on this link if you can find it in the slideshow. And if you want more examples on what opinion writing might look like, these books on EPIC might help you as well. Thanks for watching.